So in the Pokemon Presents, we had Pokemon Legends ZA revealed to us, and I was just as shocked as most of the community. Since then, we've had countless breakdowns of the trailer and almost every frame analysed, and speculation is through the roof. But my question is, how will the gameplay actually work? How can we have a full game based in one city in the Kalos region? Well, I have a great idea on how they can make it work. Allow me to paint the picture for you. So how are we going to have a full game only in Lumiose City? It was confirmed on the Nintendo of America Twitter account, quote, "A new adventure set entirely within Lumiose City." And if we go to the Pokemon.com website, it says an urban redevelopment plan is underway to shape the city into a place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. This would suggest that there is something there already that is either old-fashioned and needing an overhaul, or a major expansion of the current Kalos region is the vision. Because this is a Legends title, I fully expect this to take place somewhere before the events of X and Y. How far back? I'm not exactly sure, but I'd imagine it'd be similar to how Jubilife Village looked in Legends Arceus. Wooden buildings, dirt roads, and old-fashioned clothing for the characters, etc. Now we'd need some sort of home base of operations where you might be assigned to do things. I'd imagine that'd be right in the middle of the map where the Lumiose Tower is. Let me set the scene for you. Imagine that you start off in the centre of the map and you're in a big building where the Lumiose Tower should be. This is where you and your team of designers or architects are working on redesigning the whole city of Lumiose. You go outside and you can see the whole city, but it's mostly greenery and wildlife with a few small houses here and there. The place, however, is beginning to become overrun by Pokemon, making life hard to find balance between people and the Pokemon. So you and your team's task is to redesign the whole area to make it work for both, and this may be guided by the legendary Pokemon Zygarde's principles of maintaining the ecosystem in some way. Perhaps that is the overall pressure or threat of some kind. Now, looking at the map, we can see that it's divided into 5 sections. Compare this to modern Kalos, which is divided into 5 sections too. Maybe each section has a different theme. For example, the Magenta Plaza leads out to the desert route, which is normally Route 13, so perhaps there is an abundance of rock, ground and electric types there. And on the opposite side you have the Jaune Plaza that normally leads to Route 16 and eventually to the Lost Hotel. Perhaps this section is haunted by ghost type Pokemon and it is a little run down compared to the rest. Lumiose City is where these and the other 3 routes eventually meet. Maybe there is no balance in the ecosystem here, and with the addition of humans, it's completely out of control. Maybe each section is naturally barriered, or humans have intervened creating divides to stop the overspill, this making it so the player can only visit each area one at a time. Now, how do we create the harmony that would please the legendary Pokemon? Well, that's where you and your Pokemon come in. Let's have a quick look at the trailer. It starts with things being drawn on paper, almost like blueprints. Buildings, trees, people, and Pokemon are drawn. Then we are transported into a sort of virtual world. I believe this to be a simulation. Allow me to explain. We have Pikachu running around a busy rendered city with people, Pokemon, and various different structures. Notice too that the people and Pokemon have no defined facial features, only a sort of rendered outline so we can define what they are. Also, I can't be certain, but to me this trailer all takes place in the one section with a canal running through it, until we get to the full view of the map at the end. Maybe it's either the Magenta Plaza or in between the Jaune and Vert plazas. Maybe your and your Pokemon's job is to delve into these simulations once they are designed and make sure that they work for the Pokemon that live there, as well as the humans. Maybe you are in the mind of the Pokemon and you control it to speak with the virtual inhabitants, gather feedback, solve disputes through battles, and report back your findings before work can actually be done in the real world. Now you might be thinking, hold on there, this is a Pokemon game. I'm going in to catch them all and become the greatest trainer in the world. Well, think about it. There was no Pokemon League in Legends Arceus, but there is a progression and task system. The goal is ultimately researching all Pokemon and bringing people and Pokemon together. The Pokemon Company has said on their website that the game is an ambitious new entry to the Pokemon video game series. The game is going to be different for sure, but how do we get into the mind of Pokemon? Well, think back to both Mystery Dungeon and the Indigo Disk DLC for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. In Mystery Dungeon, we're controlling the Pokemon from start to finish, and in the Indigo Disk, we now have access to the Synchro Machine that, importantly to note, is mentioned in the game as a prototype. Perhaps this is what these sorts of projects are leading up to. A different sort of Synchro Machine that transports you into the virtual mind of your Pokemon and lets you explore this virtually generated city. Perhaps you're gathering real-life resources and materials in the real world in between trips to the virtual render. As you go back and forth, you can adjust the blueprints to change the virtual render until you have something that works for everyone. From there, once you've confirmed that your section in the virtual setting should be okay to build, work begins on the first plaza and you move on to the next one. This will have a different set of Pokemon and challenges for you. Then once you've completed all 5 plazas, you have to build the Lumiose Tower, but the whole thing was a trap to build the ultimate weapon or something like that. Who knows? I'm not exactly sure what the story itself will be, but I feel as though this is a plausible gameplay loop that would be experimental enough to work. Another thing that I've not seen people talk about from the presents is that in between games there was a sort of spiralling down animation played in between each announcement. It really stuck out to me compared to other presents, as we haven't seen this before to the best of my knowledge. Maybe that is similar to the animation of going into the virtual world in Lumiose City. That's just the way I see it anyway. Maybe it's just fun transitional animations, but it would fit the theme of this idea and explain why it was in the presents in the first place. Lastly, this might also fit with the title of the game, ZA, going from Z to A, starting at Z, or the finished product, and going to A, and starting the work. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Does it make sense? Could the gameplay be fun? Or am I completely wrong? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, be sure to subscribe. I'll be making more content like this going forward, as well as all other things Pokemon related too. It'd be great to have you around. For now, if you're wanting to catch up on raids in Scarlet and Violet, why not check out this video here for the latest, and I'll speak to you next time.